This video is for 4.2. In this assignment, we're dealing with what's called the point slope. And the point slope formula is this. It's y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay. Now with this, the things you're going to be plugging in are right here, here, and here. And what you're going to plug in there is your known y value, your slope, and your known x value. So let's go ahead and go through a couple of these and see what we're talking about. So number one, and again I'm just going to write that up here, y minus, and this is our y value, equals our slope times x minus our x, where this is y, m, and x. So let's go ahead and go through and plug this in. We have y minus, and right here we can see we're looking for our y value. If you remember, this is x comma y. So here's our y value. So y minus 1 equals, what's our slope? Our slope is next, so our slope is -3 times x minus, and what's our x value? Now we're over here at x. Our x is -2, so we'll plug that in, -2. Make sure to put that one in parentheses. Now let's start simplifying. Y minus 1 equals -3 times x, and what's minus a negative? That's the same thing as plus 2. Now we're going to distribute throughout, and that gives us y minus 1 equals -3 times x is -3x, and -3 times 2 is -6. And our final step, we're just going to get the y by itself, so we're going to add 1 to both sides, which gets rid of that part right there, leaving us with just y equals -3x, and -6 plus 1 is -5. And that's our answer for number 1. Now if we go over to number 2, actually I'll do all the odds in this video, or not all, yeah, all the odds. So we'll skip over to number 3. Okay, once again, we have y minus our y equals our slope times x minus our x, and I'll leave that up there this time so I don't have to keep writing it. This is where we plug in the y, the slope, and the x. So let's go ahead and do that. Y minus, what's our y value? Remember, this is x and y. Our y value is -2 equals, what's our slope? Our slope is -1 times x minus our x value is -1. So let's simplify as much as we can. Minus a -2 is same thing as y plus 2 equals -1x plus 1. Minus a -1 is plus 1. So now we're going to minus 2 from both sides, leaving us with just y equals -1x, or -x minus 1. And that's how you do number 3. Number 5. Y minus, what's our y? Our y is 4 equals, what's our slope? 7 times x minus x. What's our x? Our x is 0. Now we simplify. Y minus 4 equals 7 times x, because x minus 0 is just x. So now we add 4 to both sides. And we're left with y equals, that goes away, giving us just 7x plus 4. Because we have the 7 times x, and then the plus 4 is going to just go right up there on the end. Now, if we scroll down to this one, we're doing something very similar. Number 7, we just find the slope. So if I find the slope here, I'm going up 1, 2, 3. So 3 over 1, 2, 3. Negative 3. That's the same thing as negative 1. So there's my slope. Now if I decide to do something different, I do have the ability to say, okay, I have y here, and I have y here. So what's negative 1 minus 2? That'd be negative 3 over what's 4 minus 1? That would be 3, and that would give me negative 1. So you see, my slopes are equal. They're the same. That one, all I was doing was the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 to find the slope. Okay, so just take the two y's, minus them, take the two x's, minus them, and you'll get the same slope. So you can either count or find the slope using the 2 points. So now let's just plug it in. I have y minus, what's my y? I'm just going to choose one of them. So I'm going to choose this one right here. Y minus 2 equals, what's my slope? It's negative 1 x minus, and what's my x? There's my x right there, minus 1. Let's simplify. Y minus 2 equals negative 1x plus 1, because we have a negative times a negative, and that equals a positive. So now I'm going to add 2 to each side, giving us just y equals negative 1x, and you don't have to put the 1, but you can. And then 2 plus 1 is 3. So there's how you do the graph. You just have to find the slope. So that was number 8. And I know I've switched to evens, but that's okay. We'll live. Okay, this time I'm going down 1, 2. So down 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that equals negative 1 over 4. So there's my slope. So now my equation, if you remember, is just y minus y1 equals my slope times x minus x1. Okay, what is my equation then? Y minus, what's my y1? I'm going to go with this one right here, negative 1. And it doesn't matter which one you do. Equals, what's my slope? Negative 1 over 4 times x minus, what's my x? 4. Now let's simplify. That turns into a y plus 1 because a negative negative cancel out. Equals negative 1/4 x, and then negative 1/4 times 4 would be a positive 1. And then we just subtract 1 from both sides, and I have y equals negative 1/4 x, and that turns into a 0, so I don't need anything more. That's how you do this. I'm going to let you do the I'll do one more graphing, and then I'm going to let you do the remaining on your own. Down 2 and over 1. So that's a slope of -2. So y minus 0 equals -2 times x minus 2. Now that simplifies to just y equals -2 times x is -2x. -2 times -2 is +4. And there's nothing else that needs to be simplified. So that's how you do this assignment. If you have any questions, let me know.